Hey everybody, welcome in. It's November 21st, 2018. What is up? So, before I hop into the Week 12 preview, it's the grading of the transaction grade, the waiver wire coverage, I don't know what you want to call it. We'll have to figure out some creative name for next year. Anyway, $88 was spent in just one day or one waiver wire period. This was the most by far this season, I think probably by about $30. It was crazy. People were spending money like it was nothing. So far, I'll just do a waiver wire budget preview. The most remaining dollars is Katie at 100. Next up, we have Weston at 89. Then we have Brady at 80. And I would just like to point out, obviously, this doesn't necessarily, correlation doesn't always mean causation, but Brady an 8 seed, Weston a 7 seed, and Katie, the 11th seed right now, have over $80 spent. Actually, that's not true. I just missed Tori with $95, who's the number 1 seed. But I was going to say, it's probably showing that, the more money that people spend, or I guess more active that they spend in terms of their money, usually yields better results. Because if you look at the top 6 seeds, you have me, you have, well, Tori's at 95, so that doesn't count. But Jay at 49, myself at 25, CJ at $0, Brittany at 24, Travis at 6. So I think there's probably a happy medium. I think that the people that spend money tend to yield a little bit better results, but that's probably because they're very active on the waiver wire. But one could also say that people like Weston and Brady, who don't make that many moves, but when they make moves, they make really good moves for their roster, and they're able to get bargains off the waiver wire. So I think that there's probably some pushing and pulling in this kind of area, but I think there's probably, like I was saying, a happy medium in terms of dollars spent. Again, I'm just trying to help people next year when they're thinking about waiver wire strategies or budgets, or if they aim. Obviously, you can spend money each period, and that doesn't yield results. I think it's just a matter of knowing which players to spend money on and knowing which players to try to squeeze as much value out of. And I think this week is a perfect example. Everyone just spent. So, for instance, Josh Adams. Brittany had acquired Josh Adams for $19, and then acquired Jeff Hireman for $8. And that was it. I'll give Brittany a C+ for her aggressiveness. $19 for a backup running back. I believe she definitely needs one this week. And Jeff Hireman is a tight end. I believe she needs a tight end as well this week too. But $27 is just a lot of money. She also acquired Jake Elliott for $8. So I think it was $35 spent just in one period and wiped out half of her budget remaining. So Brittany just very aggressive here, and only one of the players had any type of bidding war, and she had outbid that person by, I think, 14 points. I think Gabe had bid on Josh Adams by $5. So I'll give Brittany about C+, but I think that's just a perfect example of maybe being a little bit too overly aggressive, throwing money when you don't necessarily need to. I think like a kicker, I don't think you need to throw $8 at it, or a backup tight end $8. But again, I mean, for all I know, Jeff Hireman and Jake Elliott could be just absolutely top 5 plays from now to the end of the year. So who knows? Next up, we have Eli acquiring Traquan Smith for $13. Outbid me. I think I bid $8. CJ bid $0. He also acquires Gus Edwards for $9 and acquires Lance Kendricks for $3. I think Eli did a really good job here. He didn't go crazy with Traquan Smith. I think this is $13 is what I think I had spent, or something around there, when I had acquired him earlier this year, and then I had dropped him. And I think he's a great flex play. I really do, especially for Eli's team. Gus Edwards, I think he has Alex Collins, or maybe have traded Alex Collins, but Gus Edwards seems to be the guy right now. I don't know that situation. And then Lance Kendricks is a tight end. I mean, doing all this, I mean, he does only have $3 left in the season, but I dig it. I'm going to give Eli a B+ for these moves. I like them. Next up, we have Scott acquiring Kiki QD for $11. This is probably another example of probably spending a little bit too much on someone. But Scott has $19, so it's not like he's doesn't have any money left. But probably spent a little bit too much. But what can you say? I think this is a good depth play for Scott's team. Anything to kind of help bolster his roster, to kind of just endure the what seems to be the inevitable consolation bracket that he is headed towards. Obviously, he's still not out of the playoffs, but I believe he has a matchup this week that is all or nothing for him and Gabe. But anyway, I'll give Scott a C+. Next up, we have Travis acquiring Matt Bryant for $9. I think this is a perfect example with the Jake Elliott just throwing money that doesn't really need to be thrown in that direction. Travis has $45 spent, so it's not really that big of a deal. And if you look at the grand scheme of things, I just think, if we're going to be super critical on this type of thing, you just probably spent too much money, and I don't think anyone else bid on Matt Bryant either. I'll give Travis a C. Next up, we have Brady acquiring New England's defense for $8. And in a weird way, I think this was a brilliant maneuver by Brady. Think about this. So, New England's playing the Jets this week. Great stream defense. I dig it. Maybe spent a little bit too much, but when you think about it this way, Travis has Tom Brady. And if New England's defense scores, defensive touchdowns or does those types of things, that takes the ball away from Brady. And especially if they run the ball a ton, which is probably what's likely to happen, it just kind of puts Brady in a situation where you're taking the ball away from Travis as much as you can. And if New England's defense has a great day defensively, then Tom Brady has an okay day. So and Brady plays Travis. So I think this is a brilliant maneuver by Brady that's just on another level. Next up, we have Gabe acquiring Lamar Jackson. At first, in the other take I had made, I was like, I don't know why he's doing this. I'm going to give Gabe a C-. Then I realized Patrick Mahomes is on a bye, and I believe he's looking for a starting quarterback, so I like this. I'll give Gabe a B for this. I think, it's Lamar Jackson can have a huge day or a terrible day, but I like it. I mean, Gabe's swinging for the fences, and that's what you got to do when you're trying to make the playoffs at 5-6. And last but not least, you had me acquiring Dallas's defense. And for those that don't know, they're playing Washington tomorrow, Thursday, and I believe Mark Sanchez may or may not be starting or may or may not be playing. And if everyone remembers the last time he played on Thanksgiving, he played against the Patriots, and that's when the butt fumble happened. So butt fumble likely, probably, especially with the terrible offensive line that the Redskins are enduring with 3 of their top-tier linemen out. And Dallas's front 4 is pretty good, so I think there's a potential of butt fumble volume too. Anyway, that concludes the transaction period. I don't think I missed anyone. But anyway, let's hop into the preview. First off, we have CJ versus Eli, and if everyone remembers this last time, Eli got his first win of the season, ended his 7-game losing streak. And now CJ's coming back for some vengeance. Right now, it's kind of projected the same way Eli's been all season. Someone's going to drop 160 on him, and then Eli's been probably going to be in the 116, 120s. But you never know. I do like this for Eli. I do think this might be a little bit more high scoring for him. You have Leonard Fournette again at Buffalo. You have Philip Lindsay versus Pittsburgh. Doug Baldwin against Carolina. Christian Kirk against the Chargers, and then Kirk Cousins against the Green Bay Packers. There's always a chance that Drew Brees doesn't perform a lot of points Thursday night. They could just run the ball against Atlanta, but it's really hard to say. I mean, CJ's team is really tough to beat when you got McCaffrey, Kamara, and Brees, who are just 3 players that pretty much can put up 30 any given week. And when you get 3 players putting up 90, that's really tough to beat. Next up, we have Do or Die, Gabe versus Scott. Winner has a legit chance to make the playoffs. The loser is done. And right now, Scott is projected to win by 5. I think this is going to be a little bit closer than that. I think this might be a match of the week. I'm going to label this a match of the week. Again, this is less about the seed matchup, but more about, I think this is going to be a good one. I think this has every little bit of interest to it. Next up, we have Brittany versus Jay, and Jay and Brittany are not in the same division. Usually they have been, but this is projected to be really close, within 1 point. Brittany doesn't have her girly, which is tough, and I believe Brittany doesn't also have her tight end is in Travis Kelce, and her kicker in Greg Zuerlein. I am not anti-Brittany in this situation. I just think it's really tough for her to win without those 3 players. I think Jay kind of caught Brittany on a really good week to play against her. We will see. But even though it's projected close and these are two good teams, I'm not going to make this a match of the week because I'm a little bit worried Jay might win by like 30 or 40 just because Brittany doesn't have her horses in this matchup. Next up, we have Katie versus Tori in the basically 2-week matchup between these two squads. Tori will be playing Katie 2 weeks in a row. Katie will be playing Tori 2 weeks in a row. It's gonna be wild. And this has playoff implications written all over it. If Tori wins, I think Tori, if she wins her next two, she has a bye week first week. So we will see. Probably everyone's probably like, God fucking damn it, look at this matchup. I am going to say this might be my favorite for the biggest blowout of the week. Katie versus Tori, not looking good for Katie. Next up, we have Travis versus Brady. Brotherly matchup, brotherly love. 6-5 versus 5-6. This is another matchup of the week. This is going to be an awesome one. Riding on the wall. It's going to be fantastic. Travis has Houston's defense. Brady has Deshaun Watson as his quarterback, the Houston's quarterback. Brady's got New England's defense. Travis has New England's quarterback in Tom Brady. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. Brady's got D-Hop with Deshaun. Travis has got Gronk with Brady. It's just going to be awesome. I'm really excited for this one. I think this is going to be a lot closer than what it's projected as of right now. Brady doesn't have his Kareem Hunt, which is, okay. But I know right now Brady is like a 20-point underdog to Travis, but I think this is going to be much closer than what the projections are leading on to. But I always say, projections mean jack shit. And last but not least, we have myself versus Weston. And this probably will be the highest scoring matchup of the week. When you have Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, and Julian Edelman, normally he has Tyreek Hill, but basically you have 3 wide receivers that can go for 20 easily. And Tyreek Cohen and Lamar Miller have been known to go off, as well as Matt Breida. I think this is going to be probably the highest point total in terms of matchup. But yeah, I am projected 176 points. I don't know how Michael Thomas is projected almost as many points as Andrew Luck. I don't get it. And this is without Brandon Cooks. This is going to be an awesome matchup. I'm so excited. My team is looking good, but Weston's team is also looking mightily good too. I am a 22-point favorite, but really it's anyone's game. Weston is projected 154 points. If he had Tyreek Hill, we'd probably be looking in the 160s. Regardless, yeah, this is projected to be the highest scoring matchup, and I'm going to agree with that. This will be the matchup of the week in terms of projected scoring, but I don't really know who's going to win this one. I have a feeling it's going to be really high scoring. Fuck it, we'll make it a match of the week. And I'll probably see Weston on Sunday. Anyway, that's it, everybody. Sorry that these two have been longer. I've been yabbering. Anyway, that's it. Good luck. Make sure you guys start your lineups. Please, just everyone, make sure to check your lineups tonight. If there's any players out, take them out and move players in, because I know there's Marvin Jones carry on, Johnson Ive carry on. But just games start at 10:30 in the morning here, and then they just go on and upwards, and I don't want anyone, especially right now, 2 weeks. It's just, I want everyone to be paying attention to the roster. I don't want anyone getting easy wins. That's it, everybody. Peace out.